We have the absolutely amazing global patch notes for May 23rd. This is going to be coming next Thursday. So first off, we have the Last Gladius coming. It is the final fight against Elezra. We're looking at a level 60 or higher for the quest. Also, on the completion of the quest, we're going to get a Sovereign or Karazhan Hammer, your choice. You also get some Dekima Oath tokens and Maha's fragments, that's just a little bit bonus. The recommended AP is 330 and DP 420. Then we also have the weekly completion reward with a Dekia rare box, 25 Traces of Nature, 25 Ancient Powder, Dekima Oaths, and Maha fragments. There's also the improved compass parts in the box as a chance. Tears of the Golden Desert, that's the Vaha pity piece. A piece of a Giant's Ring, that one I'm not too sure of. Gladius here, we have the improved parts and the Colossus Rings fragments that can be obtained when opening Kabilia's ship are the same as can be obtained through existing rewards. I think this is the Merchant Ring, but I'm not 100% certain, but it does seem that way. There's also 3 new titles that are going to be acquired for the Final Gladius First Win, 5 wins, and completion reward. Then we have Deadeye, the Gift of the Canary, the Abyssal skill being released. Here we can see 3,084 and 7,602 for probably the regular rounds. The Marty rounds go in 2,700 and 6,690. In both cases, we have an accuracy rate of 25, crit rate of 100. There is a plus 25% and also a plus 10 of something. And it looks like both of this might be frontal guard. But, oh no, actually super armor. We can see here, live bullets and Marty, we see super armor. So it is a super armor skill. 67% damage reduction in PvP on the normal rounds, 66.2 in the Marty rounds. Then we have the really big change, improved evasive movements. So the following classes will be adjusted. Warrior, Sword, Ranger, Musa, Maywell, Valkyrie, Ninja, Kunoichi, Shai, I think that's the Berserker or Striker, Mystic, Dark Knight, Archer, Guardian, Hashashin, Nova, Sage, Corsair, Dracania. Then we also have the Megu, Scholar, Dosa, Deadeye, and Usagi. I'm not quite sure what the Usagi is going to be. That's a new translation that I haven't seen. Either way, so the behavior of the movement skill will be changed across the board, with all characters now moving a similar distance. They've increased the amount of time the character can rotate relative to the camera direction while using evasive movement techniques, and they improved the ability to smoothly connect to other skills. So here we see an example of the Ninja Evasion and then Shadow Step combo. So pretty much it's a sidestep and then the attack, and now it's going to be a quick sidestep and instant attack. There is a note, however, you can only link to another skill after the evasive movement skill has finished its movement. The stamina consumed when using the evasion movement skills is changed to 150, and when using evasion movement technique, the invincibility effect against monsters has been changed to be applied throughout the entire movement. This is actually quite big. It means that the evasion rule might actually be worthwhile coming out. All effects of the evasion movement technique, except the invincibility effect against monsters, has been removed. Changed so that the movement speed is effective when using evasion movement, and evasion movement techniques have been changed to activate by pressing each directional key twice in succession, or by pressing a directional shift key. There is a note, however, that forward movement is only activated when the forward direction key is pressed twice in succession, and if there is a class-specific evasion skill that uses the same command, that skill will be activated first, and if the skill cannot be activated, the evasion move will activate. This is kind of as it is now. If you don't have your evasion skill active, you can now use the other one. Hopefully this won't be a roll anymore, but it will be adjusted to be similar to the ninja one. I mean, here we can just see the side jump and then the attack. Hopefully it will not be the full roll anymore, but I don't think it will be the roll, considering that we're looking at a much faster skill afterwards, and if we're going to be rolling and then doing the skill, that's not going to work. There's also the following changes applied to each class based on the adjustments. So Ninja Kunoichi, they change that the throw shuriken and throwing star techniques cannot be used while using the ninja evasion technique. Musa and Meiwa, they've changed it so that the super armor is not applied when evading, while in the Sajin, or I think that's the red sword state, and Nova, they've added evasive movement skills. There's also class modification and changes for Nova's orbital derailment acceleration. The orbital derailment technique has been changed so that it cannot be used when the weight is exceeded. Then we have the AoS season starting again. So May 28th till July 2nd, we're going to have the next AoS season happening. So we're looking at the standard point windows as before. Similar thing, if you win 3 games in a row, you will receive additional victory points, consecutive wins more, and then after 11 wins, 30. The big change that is going to be very much for the Evasion players, we're seeing an increase of the Evasion. So the Helmet of the Fighting Spirit Evasion, we're looking at 83 going up to 98 Evasion. In the case of the armor, 120 to 135. The gloves, 103 to 118. And on the boots, from plus 90 to plus 105. Also, the effects of the Flame Crystal of Sikoro has been changed, so the increased special attack plus 5% and reduce all damage by minus 7 is being changed to plus 7.5% special damage, with a reduce all damage by minus 5 and evasion by minus 8. There's also modifications that could be equipped on the gloves and helmets. So the gloves of True Magic Crystal with Viper, which is the attack speed potential, and all hit power is being removed from the gloves and helmets. Or the gloves, and in the case of the helmets, the True Magic Master Harpia, the max HP, HP recovery, and all evasion is being removed from the helmet. The gap between the total scores of both teams is also being improved to not be too large anymore, and the rules for the Solar Window matching has been changed to prevent teams from being formed with members of the same class. So again, they're saying we're not going to have multiple classes in one. I'm kind of curious if they're actually going to be able to fix it this time, because I've gone against Double Sage way too often, and it's a pain. Then in the case of Red Battlefield, where it's changing from ruins of Castle Ruins to the capital city of Valencia. When the matching is complete, the number of people who can enter changes from 30 to 20, and when the number of matching participants reaches 20 and the application UI for the participation is displayed, the Red Battlefield will begin if at least 16 people accept the entry. The damage reduction and evasion reduction effects applied when near occupied areas of each point in the capital city of Valencia has been changed. So the all damage reduction is reduced by 220 when near a occupied area, but will not be reduced below 550. And all evasion, similar, we see an evasion reduction of 286 when near an occupied area, but it will not be reduced below 874. Then we have the improved warehouse transport functionality. So this is something I've been waiting for personally. So the amount of trade wagon goods is going to be trade wagons is going to be increased from 1 to 5. The wagons used to transport trade items in the warehouse has been changed from regular wagons to trade wagons. And when moving items to a trade wagon, improvements have been made so that only transportable trade goods are displayed. So here we can see a selection being done on the trade wagons, and then only the trade items will be highlighted. Small little change, that's kind of nice. The Margoria Lost and Found is finally getting a revamp. So you used to be able to use gold keys on these. Now they're changing it so you can use silver keys as well. We can see moss-covered maps being added, golden galleys, golden shells, so the typical silver items. We have some other silver items here at the top. Also Crocoin bundles in various sizes, plywood of the rough waves, and so pretty much blue gear items and gold bars. This is for silver keys. In the case of you using a gold key, you get the silver items, Margoria ore, solution ore, moss-covered maps, golden, the more valuable silver items that we're used to, and larger Crocoin bundles only, with no blue gear items. Here we see the items being displayed that are at the top on a probably low probability, so 500 mil, 375 mil, 375 again, 300 and 250 mil items. Overall, the chance of them appearing is going to go down by approximately 75%, so we will see less of these things in the ocean, but they will be definitely a bit more stocked up. I do like the fact that there's moss-covered maps and all these silver items. I think most of the time this is going to average out to a nice little bonus for the price, considering the price of gold keys. 1 gold key for a chance of all of this, that's pretty good. Then Saltwater Crocodiles is being adjusted as well. They've expanded their colony by appearing in larger numbers, and overall the Nine Sharks and Black Rust will have disappeared from the zone. So a herd of Saltwater Crocodiles has been added, and also they've changed the appearance of the Nine Shark and Black Rust in the saltwater area. Overall, people have been saying this for years. Why are there Nine Sharks and Black Rusts up there? Just make it crocodiles. Then we have the thing that a lot of people are waiting for, the buff items Blessing of the Spirit that can be crafted with the hunting furniture. So there will be 5 types of Blessings from the Spirits. When used, you will gain the buff effect for 60 minutes. There is a cooldown of 10 seconds, and buff obtained this way will not stack with the regular furniture buffs, and the Blessing of the Spirit can be traded through the central market with a lower price of 15 million silver and an upper price of 60. Here we see the 5 options: all AP, Blessing of Spirit Gravity, which is accuracy, max HP, damage reduction, and evasion. The following materials will be needed. So we see here the Fire Lightstone Fury for the AP with Remnants of the Spirit, 10 Mysterious Parchments, or 100 top quality leathers. So you choose one of these. Either one, if you're hunting, you should use the top quality leathers, and 350 magical Lightstone crystals. In the case of HP, we're looking at the Fire Lightstone Hit. In the case of max HP, we're looking at the Wind Lightstone Heart, Iron Wall for the damage reduction, and Waves for the evasion. For the Remnants of the Spirit, there is a nice little note, and also you can multiply this with the Blackstone Powder. So 1 Blackstone Powder, you will need to multiply the Remnants of the Spirit by 100, Mysterious Parchment or Supreme Leathers also by 100, so 10 to 100 or 100 to 1000. The one thing that is a bit weird, the Magical Lightstone crystals goes from 350 to 3600, but I think this might be a typo. This might be pushed down to 500 in the end. The Remnants of the Spirit you will be able to exchange from the hunting stuffed furniture and breath items for it. So here we see a listing. So you get 3 for exchanging basic stuffed heads, 70 when exchanging Breath of Narcion or Almora's Breath, and 75 from exchanging bigger buffs. This looks like the Artisan Crafted, and 150 if you donate Master Stuffed Heads. In the case, there is a price change being done on the Stuffed Weasel, and also that furniture buffs are applied will be removed on the maintenance day, so do not have any furniture buffs active on your characters during that day. Then we also have items being usable by the auto-popping on the ferry. So what is being added are the sour cakes, so pretty much the event buffs that we've come to get used to, including the whiskeys will be auto-pop, dragons, Blessing of the Flames, the melee damage reduction, Table of Tea, Dark Chocolate Cake as some highlights. So here we can see this. We also have an auto-pop for the Blessing of Golden Pig, which can be quite nice. Overall, we're going to have to see on the actual release what is going to be added to the list, but this is definitely a nice little thing. They've also improved the convenience of gathering and hunting areas, so here the mysterious boxes with buried traces that we've been collecting with gold keys will no longer be interacted with after having completed them. They're also changing the appearance of grass beetles in the Arceon hunting area, and some of the non-hunting monster placements in Arceon has also been adjusted. They've also changed the hunting area in the Ash Forest in Camasylvia to prevent swarms from appearing, and the probability of obtaining Millennium Ginseng has increased by 50% compared to before. That is really nice. And the other really big thing in this update, so the tier 7 and 8 horses will appearance will be reduced by 50%. That is a bit of a letdown that it's dropping immediately after getting buff. However, we are getting some nice things. So we're getting a permanently usable capture rope called the Ancestral Shining Rope. So we will be able to get this by after you achieve Master Training level 1 or higher, and you do the Training Promotion Artisan 10. You will then get this reward, which is a permanent rope, no longer exchanging it. The following changes have also been made to the Wild Horse capturing ropes. So when you're using the capturing rope to capture a Wild Horse, the control key to discard the rope has been changed from spacebar to right click. And when using a capturing rope, if there is a climbable terrain in front, you can now climb it by pressing the spacebar. That is the reason this change happened. The animation that appears when you fail to capture a horse or drop the rope has also been improved, so that you can now move by holding down the movement control key. Also, as a nice bonus, in conjunction with the rope, we're also getting a permanently usable brown sugar lump, Marandora's Sweet Brown Sugar, which will be a extra gift on top of if you get the Crocodiles Nest, aka after you've completed all 3 tier 10 horses, you will get the Sweet Brown Sugar from Marandora. This is a permanent brown sugar item, pretty much making the brown sugar market kind of useless, but then again, it is behind the Crocodiles Nest, so it will take some time. Then we have some weight changes on event elixirs being changed from 0.5 to 0.2 LT. Also, as stated, the item descriptions in Rafi Bed Mountain's improved telescope, you will no longer be able to use it while riding a mount like a horse, camel, or donkey. Then, the other really big thing, we're getting an improved convenience for the Ataraxian boss battles. So, when you complete a boss battle in Valmakeia, Secrekeia, Yolonakia, a feature has been added that allows you to immediately move to the next boss battle. So, when you clear each boss, you will now receive an entry item for the boss's next battle. So, if you complete Valmakeia, you will be able to enter the Secrekeia battle area, and you immediately get the dagger. Same for Secrekeia, you will be able to go to Yolonakia, and if you complete Yolonakia, you will be able to enter Valmakeia. So in this case, it is a full circle, so you can just keep jumping to the next one. That is really nice as a pretty big bonus. So the description on how to obtain the following items will also be adjusted. So the Lucretia's dagger, the Fallen Dagger of Yolun, and the Dagger of Empty Light will also be adjusted to reflect this. And the quantity of the Cold Thorns will be obtained in defeating the monsters will be increased as well. So you get, instead of 1 confirmed acquisition, a 2 to 3 guaranteed gains. That is pretty big, making you only have to kill 2 of these if you want to do it the old-fashioned way and start the cycle. The appearance probability of Croton and the Boiling Heart Fragment will also be increased by double. Then we have knowledge drops being added to all the world, field, and guild bosses so that you can retain their knowledge when defeating them. And when you defeat any of these with a final blow, you will 100% obtain that leader's knowledge. So they've also added the knowledge for the leaders Vel, Khan, Lalau, and Black Shadow. Lalau I'm not quite sure of, but here we have the full list. So we have Zarka being added, Nuver, Karanda, Kutum, Garma, Offen, Watcher, Offenthet, Morocco, Quint, Immortal, I'm not quite sure again. Then we have Uturi, Mountain Range, Gold Picking, Red Nose, Dastardly Beg, the Dim Tree Spirit, Giant Mudster, Katzvariak, Ferret, Ancient Paturum, Vel, Cans, which is probably Khan. Then we have Lalau mentioned again, and Black Shadow. And in this case, it is a leader with a new knowledge added, so kind of interested what that's going to be. In the Dawn Gloves, we have all related consecutive quests have been improved to appear in the recommendation list as well. Then we have some slight no-board changes again. The poison traps. The dismounting effect has been removed, and the trap has been increased to inflict 600 damage every 2 seconds for 20 seconds, previously 350, and the flame trap explosion range will be increased by 50%. So the reaction range is the same, but the explosion range will be increased. The issue where installed traps were destroyed by adventurer summons has also been fixed, and the appearance time of the Ancient Chariot loading military wagon, which allows you to acquire the Ancient Chariot, has been changed as well. So before it was 2 to 3 hours after the start of the occupation battle, and now it appears 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes after the start. The Ancient Chariot damage has also been improved, so damage to fences, gates, barricades has been increased by 45%. Damage dealt to flame towers, reinforced flame towers, I'm guessing a Holy War would be the Watcha and Great Watcha, has also been increased by 100%. In the construction mode method Node War battles, the damage inflicted by the Lynch cannons to flame towers and the other towers has been reduced by 25%. In capture-based battles, the damage inflicted by the Lynch cannon to flame towers has been reduced by 40%. In the capture-based battle, again, the damage inflicted by the cannons to Holy and Great Holy battles has been reduced by approximately 30%. So again, we're seeing some damage adjustments on the cannons concerning certain towers. In the practice, they've changed that the knockdown does not occur when hitting with the Lynch cannon. System, if a character interacts with a bookshelf and is reading a book, there is a fix where it would maintain even when another character is accessed in the game. However, for smooth game optimization, the motion has been changed to no longer be maintained and instead disappear. The settings for the hide pets and maid functions in your residence has also been improved that it will maintain this even when you leave the residence. And finally, we have general fixes and changes. There is some unnatural lava object on the Dark Rift Leader Ferret appearing, which has been modified. In general, we see some general outfit fixes again. So, fix an issue where ships and characters will become unable to move in certain locations near the Kron Archipelago. The issue where high damage was applied when hitting flame towers. Then we have also something for War of the Roses. The old leader factions Calc and Camasylvia factions Griffins have been changed to not take off into the air. The item description for obtaining Blue Shark has been correctly changed from regular fishing to spear fishing or harpoon fishing. Then we also have some issues where scroll in the Pro Shop direct purchase window would reset whenever there was a change, and some fixes for text in the Odalita quest line. Issue where Altanova's NPC Buried the Third was placed in duplicates has been fixed. Then we have some general fixes for Berserker, I think this is Tamer, Dark Knight, Corsair. In the case of Dracania, there's an issue fix where the next related quest would not proceed after completing the Awakening has been fixed. So here we see the list. And there was apparently also an issue where it was impossible to obtain the title Cutting the Cold Sky. I couldn't actually find this one, so I'm kind of curious on the next patch which title this is, or if it did not work for me. And then we have some appearance fixes for Deadeye and female classes, and also, again, War of the Roses and pad mode fixes. Overall, going back through it, Occupation War, okay, they're readjusting the damage of the traps. The knowledge is really nice. If you're missing knowledge, this will be your chance. With them dropping it, I do think it will still be the case. You're going to be best off deleting the knowledge to guarantee that reroll a bit higher. The dungeon blitzing is absolutely amazing. The fact that it loops around, you can just go back to back. It's a lot less time, the pre-work. So you're just going from boss battle to boss battle. This will make sub 1 hour runs easily done on Elvia. I also like the fact that your Lunakia loops back to Valmakea, means that you can then swap to your tags and then just continue. That is a very nice feature. I do hope that these are not going to be character bound, because that would kind of defeat the purpose, but we'll see. Then we have the elixir changes, that's always nice. The permanent horse items, these are really nice. I am very much a fan of this. It really feels that this is a really great step. It kind of counteracts the tier 7s and 8s are going to be reduced again, because this is just a nice thing to have. It makes it so much easier to not always have to buy it. The improvements to have gathering and hunting is great. Also, the auto pop features are nice. Then we have the Dalashane. I think the exchanges are very valid, considering that it's pretty much 10 to do it, and that you're getting a lot. I mean, in the case of base stuffed animals, just 3. Okay, that's a bit low, but the fact that it's 70 for Breath of Narsion, 75 for Artisan already, and 150 for master stuffed items, that is very much worthwhile. It definitely makes it worthwhile to upgrade them and then work with them. And also, the Margoria rework, this is going to be really nice. Nice silver items. It's definitely going to make it worthwhile to just stop, climb out, use the gold key, because this is a lot of silver, a lot of crow coins. Sure, getting the moss-covered map is probably going to be pretty low. Most of the time, we're probably just going to get the crow coin bundle or the gilded coral, but even the gilded coral is worth a good chunk of silver, mostly above a gold key. Improved warehouse. The trade wagons, absolutely amazing. I will finally be able to move most of my trade items, and maybe even actually get a dent into it without having to travel. RBF, okay, finally a map change. I think people are getting a little bit bored of Castle Ruins. And AoS season with evasion changes. Hopefully this will be what evasion players needed, because I do know last season evasion players struggled a lot and evasion builds were not viable for the evasion classes. At the same time, the adjustments seem minimal, but it could be enough to make them worthwhile. And finally, evasion changes. I will need to see what this is actually going to mean, and if it is the evasion roll. If it is the evasion roll and it's still completing the whole roll and then allowing an attack, it really depends on how quickly it allows the attack, but this could be big. This could mean that the boss blitz will become available for a lot more classes again, and not need the perma iframe or PvE iframe classes. And finally, we have the Deadeye Abbyssal. Finally, they're getting ready with the Abyssals. It's going to be quite interesting, and I'm really looking forward to the final battle, Gladios. The fact that we're getting a Sovereign or Karazad Hammer, that is really nice. Most likely, I would say it's definitely going to be worth using it on the Sovereign, just because it's the bigger Kron cost. But we will see. With that, thank you everybody for joining, and I will see you around in video.